Hello, everyone, and welcome back here at the SEO Mastery Summit, where we have one of our special webinars following on from our summit. And today I'm joined by Boyan from Content Distribution. So welcome, Boyan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Super excited.
Yes, and I'm also super excited for this session, actually. Well, I'm always excited, but that's what happens when you love SEO. That's what happens when you love SEO. But yeah, I'm super excited for this session and really to see a lot more breakdown of basically how you guys run your SEO process and how you do all the good stuff. Because like most other SEOs, that's one of the pieces where, well, my normal strategy is look at what a ton of people do and then try to pick the best out of everyone and then obviously have the best system in the world. So.
And that's something I'm going to try to tap in during this webinar. The way I want to show how, other people can do what we're doing. Exactly what you said, like looking at what other people are doing really well, and then maybe see where your, opportunities to do better and even better do something that nobody else is doing. And I think we have kind of a nice way of tackling that.
Excellent. And yeah, I can see we have a whole bunch of people joining already. So welcome everyone, and feel free to post questions and feel free to say hello. Good to see who's here. And also if you have questions throughout the presentation, so Boyan will basically start out and he will go through sort of his pre-planned presentation. And then we can take questions throughout it, but we'll also do a Q&A session in the end. So if you have questions, absolutely do not hesitate to fire away. We would love to get as many as possible.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So, Boyan, I think we've given people a couple of minutes to join, and it looks like quite a lot of people have already joined. So I think let's kick off the show. So just before we start, do you want to do like a quick introduction and just let everyone know who you are?
Definitely. Yeah, I would love that. So I'm going to work backwards actually instead of from the beginning. I joined Content Distribution 8 months ago now, I think, but I've met our CEO Nick Jordan and reconnected with our director of operations, Gordana, who introduced us 1 year and 8 months ago. And the reason I'm saying this is because it actually ties into what I'm most interested in when it comes to SEO and what our team is really interested in as well. I remember us sitting in that first drink, and people who know Nick Jordan know that he likes his fat graphs. I don't like fat graphs maybe so much. I do now, but back then when I was thinking about what I was doing, it was I remember answering a question that he was posing with just, I like to publish a lot of pages. And then he just looked up and said, not even knowing what the gang at Content Distribution was doing back then. And he just said, I like to publish a lot of pages as well. And our eyes met across the table. And I'm not even joking. So he probably doesn't remember. But anyways, that was like a cue for me that, somebody else is doing something that I just maybe stumbled upon, 5 years ago when I was first successful, when I used to be a content manager for a platform in the art and design niche, where we grew our organic audience to 500,000 visitors per month. That's actually the most important thing when it comes to SEO and I guess professional growth in general, at least for me, is that, if you have a certain approach to work, maybe even life, that you find in other people, and then you realize that, you actually share the values that are going to lead you to success, that's a really good place to be in. And, if you so happen to really enjoy those people's company, then I would say that that's a pretty good deal. And that's somewhere where I am right now. Like I can focus on doing what I love, and that's something that's appreciated primarily in the team, but I feel also in the and the broader network that I've been acquiring in the past couple of months, and I'm really happy about that. So, I mean, happy to answer more questions about my professional growth, but I think that's like, I think that's a fairly good intro for everybody.
Excellent. So let's get into it. A whole bunch of people have joined us, so let's give them lots of golden nuggets.
Yeah, let's go. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see how this. All right. Yep, entire screen. No worries. I'm going to remove that. All right, cool. So what I want to do today is, while presenting on what is our content production philosophy, because it's pretty much straightforward, I want to go through specific things that make us successful. What that success means is that we took 4 projects from 0 to 100 organic visitors per month in the past 2 years, and the biggest one is doing over 500,000 visitors per month on month 17, and that is Do Not Pay. What is interesting here is that our philosophy is pretty much straightforward. We have a battle-tested and data-driven keyword grouping process. This is something that really attracted me to dive into what I feel I used to do best when I was an SEO, independent SEO consultant and working as a content manager before, and that is broad and detailed keyword research, because that's something that can give you a lot. The second thing I want to talk about is, what does high quality content mean, and how do we keep a level of quality and still be able to scale and publish a lot of pages, which is actually the third most important, I guess, step, and we can talk about that as well during this presentation. But I want to start with Mats. Please tell me if this is not. If you don't see what I'm showing.
I'm seeing your whole screen, so I see.
Yeah, I'm gonna be switching. I just want to have this people to see what is happening everywhere. All right. So what I want to do is, people who maybe watched Nick on your Great Summit were able to see some of this process, but I want to really dive into it, how how you can do this in a certain niche. And I really want to emphasize that, yes, this can absolutely be done in different verticals. We've done it for 20 different ones, whether it's a pet niche, or it's I don't know, healthcare B2B stuff, or even we're working on research on, I don't know, financial stuff and legality and legal institutions. All of this can be done with this kind of approach. It is going to differ from one vertical to another, but that's why I want to keep this simulation straightforward, so you always know your goal and what we're talking about. So this one is going to be oriented on a premise of creating a CBD content series of articles which target anxiety-like disorders and information relating to them for a platform which is going to sell pills, edibles, and oil. So I really need to understand my project and what am I doing in order to do a proper keyword research. I think this is very useful. This is something that I used to do even before having the luxury of having our tool cluster. Yeah, I'm going to show that to you as well in a moment. All right. So if you think about it, I want to see all of the opportunity that relates to CBD, right? But when you think about it, if I just include the main keyword of CBD, let's look at the horizon of possible keywords. It's going to be a lot, but here's the thing. If I'm targeting this group of people who need a solution for their current state, and they are maybe informed about this as a solution, maybe they're not, and I need to also educate them, I'm going to be missing out on a lot of things if I really don't think about what's going to be in all of my keywords. So instead of just going for what is related and then looking for suggestions with that one word, I want to have as many things to work with, if that makes sense. All right, here we go.
Yep.
If I was alive still. So that's the first thing that I'm going to do. Then here's what's going to happen. Today is the day when Ahrefs is doing maintenance. All right, 1.5 million keywords. Okay, great. I need to streamline my project. And here, I really didn't do these notes because I want everybody to understand what is the process that we go through when we do keyword research, when you get acquainted with a certain vertical or niche. First things first. I'm going to exclude all of these things that you see here because I'm targeting people. I'm not targeting animal-related products because that's a really big. I'm going to use the exclude function. That's a really big market as well. So I'm going to exclude that. While this is happening, I want to show you what I'm doing for my next action. I've researched the competition, but when you want to do a vertical here, when you want to like target something that's very unique and specific to your platform, because that's the way that you're going to get out there in front of an audience, maybe your competition is not going to be like streamlined. You cannot just steal keywords. And even if there is that chance, we can just take somebody else's content and use it as a guideline. It's better to do a broader research. That is at least what we always do. So my next action here would be, I want to look up all of the medical terms plus some other states which relate to what I'm trying to achieve here. And that is, I'm going to repeat again, I want to get in front of an audience that has this kind of a problem. This is how I streamline search intent for what I want to do. And pretty much straightforward, right? Anxiety, panic, mutism, phobia, depression, despair. Before we go into super sad topics, I'm just going to leave you guys to see what's here. It all makes sense. What you want to do is also have all of the derivatives of the main term. Why? Because that's something that's going to be appearing in your possible keywords. Next thing that I want to do is I want to list out symptoms, because this is something that people are searching for in this series that I want to create. They have these symptoms, and I have a product that can educate them how to solve this. And I can also, in the end, I can also expect some conversions, right? And here it's not much different than action one. I'm going to look at the symptoms, possible ones which I can include. Again, don't forget to always have all of the variants here. Now, action 3, I'm going to look up some terms with that in regards to solution. This is also going to give me keywords where I can see what competitors are ranking on. And here I can really see who am I competing with, right? So it's, again, going to be these operators like help and calm and comfort and so on and so on. Hope this makes sense up until now. Happy to answer questions. And then action 4, I don't want to forget the list of my products. This is what I'm doing as well, right? So pills, oils, tablets, creams, edibles, and so on and so on. I want to see my opportunity there as well. Finally, I'm just going to all group them as comma separated values. And I'm going to include them. I'm going to use the AnyWord function here. That is then going to give me something that I'm going to be really happy with, and that is keywords for all of the possible pages that I can create. If I go back here, I can also do a couple of research exercises where I can try using these modifiers. I'm not going to be doing this here because I already know that I have, by including all of these words and the main ones, I also have the questions listed. That's something that I have checked. So let's see the results. Let's exclude the low volume keywords. And this is where we are at, 20,000 keywords. 5 years ago, when I had this kind of a result, I would have my team of SEO juniors. There's going to have to be an editor. People who work directly with content will have input on how to group certain things. But the main problem is which keywords am I going to group together to target with one single page? That is very important because you're influenced by your budget. You're influenced by the fact that you can only create so many pages, what is going to be the priority, and so on and so on. I'm not just going to write, right, CBD vape juice and then hope for the best, right? So that is an excruciatingly long process, and it's doable. I have done it before. But the problem is, at the very end of it all, even if you go through all of these keywords, and I've used a bunch of various methods using the AdWords keyword planner, what I would do, variations there, and then just do a mashup of like 700 spreadsheets. I'm always left at the very end, at that point where I need to make a gut decision if I'm going to try to target this with a couple of keywords or not. And that's something that our tool, Cluster AI, solves. I can take this data as an export of a CSV. I can drop it into Cluster AI. That's the only thing that needs to, after you're done with your proper keyword research, that's the only thing that you need to do. Wait for a couple of hours for these things to process. And I want to show you what I am left with. Here we go. I actually got here all of my keywords grouped together. To make this very simple, this is keyword opportunity analysis. This is why we call it the keyword opportunity analysis, because it gives you the opportunities of keywords. Each row here actually represents a potential page that you can create. The first column represents the main keyword you want to target. The third column represents all of the variations grouped together with this keyword, which you're going to use for on-page optimization. Then here's an interesting part. This is what we do in our process when we end up, this is what people ask me, Cluster AI users, our community of followers, like, how do you go through all of this? Well, this is the second part of the hard work that you need to do after you've done your due diligence with keyword research. And that is to go through all of these topics, because you've just compressed months of work. You just need a couple of more hours to analyze this. And that's exactly how we do this with our team of project managers and editors. We go through all of these, keywords, and we decide what we want to target according to what we want to do primarily. This is, of course, yes, there is a column A. I'm going to reveal it quite soon. This is of course a simulation. So I have done various. I've just selected 50 topics, which will be interesting to see because I want to just target them. But if you go really down the line, you'll see how I've chosen some really. Look at this intent. You know, this is something. If somebody's searching for this, this is quite a specific thing. Not many people are ranking for this, and this is my chance to get in front of an audience that's not just going to give me traffic. They're going to be ready to convert. What we do at content distribution, we would, for a huge vertical like this, we would probably publish a lot of pages. It can go up to maybe even 500. But here I'm going to just show the 50 that I have. All right. The next thing I want to do is I want to look at all of those 50 pages. Keywords and topic ideas. And when I look at what the competition is doing, I can actually realize, oh, this is the type of page that I can create. Like I can create, these are the ones that are really interesting. Like if I have CBD pain relief, that's going to be a pillar page. It's really important for what we're doing. What is CBD oil is also a huge pillar page, which I really want to have. On my website. I want to publish it as fast as possible, but I'm going to have like a lot of informational top of the funnel blogs. Like, you know, is it legal? I want to have people coming in from various parts of, their possible buying journey, if that makes sense. The next thing, which you might be wondering is how we do this is, how do we actually give instructions for such a thing? How do we do it if it's like even more articles? And that is the next part, which I'm really excited to share, because I created, with my team of editors, we created this content series template the way that content distribution does it. And we created it for these keywords. So the process goes like this. An editor or a project manager, together with myself sometimes, they will go through all of the main keywords and look at the content that is ranking. Sometimes not all of the pages, but they will analyze not only what is there. That's something that suggestion tools can do. That's something that, contextual analysis can do. They can, it could share to you, oh, okay, these 15 H2s are appearing across these 15 articles, right? But what we are doing is we're looking at what is not there, so we can actually provide something that is useful, and we believe, and I'm going to correct myself, we know that that is the right way to go just by the virtue of the results that we're seeing when we're doing such a thing. So when we go through the 50 possible topics, we are going to create this content series template, and I will not dive deep into it. I want to fly through it for everybody. I'll be happy to share this document with your with our audience today. But here's the thing: we have writing requirements, which will say a number of words and some technical requirements that are needed. We're going to have information and examples of the tone and voice we want to use. We are going to then give a list of instructions, which are structurized, to share our editorial policy, the structure of the article, how keywords are used, internal linking, which is very important. Happy to talk about that some more, and the glossary. Finally, here's the most important part, and that is the main part of the content series template, where we will actually suggest the possible structure of each and every article. So this is essentially a content brief for not one, but for 50 articles. We actually create this very meticulously because it saves, it gives so much value before we start production. And we actually suggest possible H2s with very precise instructions. And here I just want to light this up because that's how you're going to see much better. Here we go. So this is the absolutely same document. I just, Matt, tell me if you're seeing everything right still.
Yeah, all looks good.
On full screen. Awesome. All right. So I just wanted to annotate this content series template just to, show to people what this means. Again, this is a simulation. A lot of our content series templates are a bit longer, but the idea is right there, give clear instructions, but anticipate possible issues. That's something that we start with, apart from, in the Q&A part of the video, I'll be glad to talk about these specifics if people are interested. They all, make sense and have a reason, like how long should an intro be? What do we do with the main keyword and so on and so on. But then if you look at the second paragraph, this is something that, remember what we're doing. We are creating a website that still doesn't have any authority in the space, which is quite sensitive, right? We're talking about mental illness. We cannot just, write whatever. And this paragraph is a great representation of what we do for all of the paragraphs in content series template. And that is, we clearly want to convey the point of this setting. So we want to define what a clinical disorder is, because that's very important. Not everybody from the competition does this. They just say, oh, okay, maybe take CBD oil instead of different kinds of pills. You don't want to do that. That is not something that's acceptable, which we found in our research. And we actually emphasize that. Let me show you here before. You cannot say that CBD is a way to treat any disorder because this research has been done only on animals. Nothing is really scientifically proven. You see, we are actually, apart from giving additional value, we're already setting the tone on how somebody should talk about this. Going back to my line of thought, let's look at this, the rest of this paragraph. The next thing, we're going to expand with examples. You can use this paragraph to do these things, explain causes, common symptoms, and so on. Then we wrap up with the purpose of this paragraph. And finally, we give advice on technical things that might come ahead. Some of these possible paragraphs or certain content series that we're doing might be much more complex. But I feel that this is a very nice and clear way to see this structure. So the next thing is going to be, what does CBD do with, how does it help with a certain chronic disorder? Again, this is a way for us to fill the content gap. This is the best way to inspire the writer. This is an inspirational and a document that actually is used for creating direction, right? Then we'll have a couple of suggestions for paragraphs that are for chronic condition-focused topics. And then, these two are going to be, can it help with disorder? This is a really nice paragraph which can actually help conversions. And then what are the symptoms that the product that we're actually selling can alleviate, right? We're going to have other H2 suggestions, like benefits, side effects, and we're going to have an FAQ, because remember, there's 50 various topics. Some of them are a bit general, some of them are quite specific, but we do our best to have this template work for each and every single keyword and to have the least possible confusion between the writer and whoever is QAing this. Whoever is QAing this kind of content. With our team, it's the editors, but this is why I always say to Cluster AI users and all the people in our broader network, you can do this for your company as well. If you put in the work, this is something that can be achieved. And then we will end with, company product promotion. We'll have CTAs written, because we found that if you do something like this, you're gonna get content that's much nicely contextually related to the rest of the article than just a simple, you can always build a simple module for related products at the very end, but here you actually are engaging with the reader. And the point of all of this is to engage with the reader. Now, I am happy to go through more of these things in detail, but I want to go back to the final third point in our production philosophy, and that's high content production velocity. This is also a question that I get asked a lot. How fast should somebody publish? The answer is as fast as you can. Because let me give you I always like to give a context. People will ask, what is fast? Well, here is a website. This is one of the first projects that we did with Cluster AI in this methodology that I've just explained to you. We published 200 pages within 6 months, so that was the kind of a dripping tempo, or whatever you want to call it, and we reached over 100K organic visitors per month, little over 13 months. Just by using the methodology that I was sharing with you. And I want to contextualize this some more. If you look at this really nice metric of efficiency or traffic per page, if you compare what we did here, if you compare the number of pages and the estimated traffic, you'll see that we are quite there with everybody else who we are competing with. Look at the leader in the space, 5,700 pages published, and yet the efficiency is the same as these 200, because we know upfront what we want to write about. If we know upfront through a content series that we can build a silo that will rank fast. Now, one last thing, this is just going to be a teaser, because next week I'm dropping a detailed video about it. So I don't want to go into it. I will actually show everyone who's interested how somebody can utilize this to write a specific article. And I have this article here, and this is the process that our writers go through, and this is the finished product of the article. I'll be happy to share this with you guys as well as soon as the presentation is ready. Sorry to end with a cliffhanger, but they say that that's how you're supposed to do it. 29 minutes. I'm super proud.
Yep.
How I did this.
Kept it short and nice.
Yeah, so, I want to go back into the details with everybody else, because there's again, happy to share the assets with everybody so they can actually inspect them themselves.
Yeah. So the first question was, how long does it take to do the keyword research from end to end when you start with a new client? So obviously, I mean, new clients can obviously have like a very short, a small site or a huge site, right? So I guess.
Yeah, thanks so much for asking this, but from end to end, I would say if it is a new client and there is a learning curve in terms of their service and product, then it might take a bit longer, but we have become quite efficient at it. We will start the broadest possible keyword research to have a sense of the entire space and the sense of the competition. We will do also competitive analysis because that is important, so we can align that with our keyword research, but that is something that's more important. And it's sometimes doesn't have to be even longer than 7 days, because it's just the CBD one that you saw. I don't know. It took me a day to do that kind of a keyword research, and I'm not really well versed in that kind of topic. Now, if it's a vertical, like, also let me share an example. For the past couple of weeks, I've been stuck with keyword research that relates to some financial and legal stuff. It's super difficult vertical, so I'm just leaving it and coming back to it, but I'm confident that it can be done. Hope that was
cool. I think that was good
answer. Yeah.
So I've had quite a few questions around Surfer SEO. So do you use Surfer SEO for your content writers?
No. This is what our content series template solves. Now, I have never tried Surfer for a wider, like, I've tried the tool, but I've never tried Surfer for a wider content series. So I don't know how it aligns really with keyword grouping. This is also number one, I really like the gang at Surfer. I really think they're cool as businessmen, as developers. I love the tool. I don't, but I don't want to pretend that I know what is the exact science of the algorithm that goes behind an NLP kind of a thing, because that's something that we don't focus on, because we believe that that's something that a human can do better. Like, a human can see what is it they're not on the search engine result pages, while I believe that the AI can only see what is there, right? That's why the AI technology that we use with Cluster AI just checks the search engine result pages for each and every keyword, and then compares them among each other to see what is your best opportunity to rank for all of them. We don't dive into a contextual analysis to get results.
Right, makes sense. And the next one,
try Cluster AI together with Surfer. Oh my God, let me know.
Yeah. Right. So the next one is kind of relevant to Surfer as well. So here it's asking, lots of people is using Surfer SEO to get average word count for posts. Mm-hmm. Do you do the same? And then he's saying, I'm thinking Surfer might become an issue in the future. When you see big SERP shakeups, suddenly all of top 10 can be gone because they all look the same. So what's your thoughts on getting word count for articles?
Okay, so this is another thing. We've been dabbling in having this module in Cluster AI where, so I don't know. Back in 2015, I was using the average number that you see on the top page, and then you say, oh, this is the minimum of what I need. But a qualitative analysis is much better than a quantitative one. It doesn't matter if it's like 2,000 words or 1,500 words or 3,000 words. It's what you need to achieve with that content. So we will always look at the stuff that we want to achieve with that content piece. If that is doable, we're going to try to do it in least number of words we can. This is also something that I'm always suggesting to people when I have one-on-ones with them, when they ask me a similar question. It's okay to publish a page earlier if it has 1,200 words. And then come back to it, especially if you're just dropping into a certain space without, without DR, without pages. You're just somebody new. You want to compete. Maybe you want to have that page as soon as possible, and then you can come back and do something more. You're not going to land on page 1 or positions 1 to 3 right away, but it's good to have it mature as soon as possible. What was the sorry, Mats, I was answering the second part of the question, I guess.
No, but basically the question was keyword volume. So basically, because Surfer, I think a lot of people right now use Surfer for the volume, right?
Yeah, like I completely get it. I would agree if that was the hypothesis behind the statement that about having. I don't know this for sure. I could not know because I haven't tried Surfer in that way. But yeah, if you are going to create content according to what everybody else is doing, yes, if 7 people drop from the first page, I mean, good chances are you are as well, which does not have to be that way if you're adding some other additional value to everything.
Makes sense. Now, the next question is then about content updating. So how frequently do you update content? Do you have a set interval, or what is your process for updating content when you're building out these huge content sites?
Okay, so we are just now dabbling into being more sophisticated with this. But the first thing that we do is we analyze how our content is performing. So by the virtue of having this process that I've shown you, that means that we can build authority quite well in a certain vertical if we publish 300 pages about this and that, right? Some series that we do become really successful. They land right away on the second page, and then they will grow slowly. And there are instances where our traffic is double the size that we expected when we looked at the monthly average search volume, because there are some things that you cannot grab from Ahrefs, SEMrush, or whatever you're using. That is a suggested kind of a thing. We saw certain articles just skyrocketing in terms of users because we caught the trend, because it was important for us to write that kind of a page because of intent. So there are those cases, and that's how we evaluate what we call post-publish optimization. The first step that we do is, if a certain period of time passes that we deem is not fast enough for a certain series to start gaining traffic, if it's happening very slowly, we will analyze what was different to this other one. And the first action that we would take is make a better internal link network. And that's something that we're doing a lot these days. We are not rewriting content very much, I have to be honest, because this is a good problem to have. It's just, it's working, so.
Makes sense. So next question here is, what is the ideal content publishing rate? So how frequently is it ideal to publish content on a site? And he's writing both for a brand new site and for a 2 years plus site.
Okay, so in the past few months, I really haven't seen on any of our projects, I haven't seen any kind of negative impact of publishing fast. And that goes for dripping 1 to 2 articles per day or 1 to 2 articles per week. We've gone up to publish between 27 and 40 a day for something bigger. There was no negative impact that we've seen. And recently we tested publishing just a lot of pages at once, but I'm gonna have to come back to you with the data. We're really interested in seeing what's gonna happen. Like on a new website, we just dropped 200.
Okay, that makes sense. And from existing content, do you ever go in and edit and add new pieces based on missing keywords? I guess that's kind of what you already said. You already go
yes,
and edit.
Absolutely. Like, this is what I wholeheartedly advise for each and every Cluster AI user, and this is something that we have been doing on our one-on-one sessions. If you have an existing website, you have, I don't know, 10K organics per month, I do advise for you to do a broad keyword research so you understand the entire thing. But then you can actually analyze what you are already ranking on and prioritize according to that. I can use the existing link, right? I don't have to wait for new one to mature if that's something where, I could just prop that up. But it's great to understand how many other pages should I create. Maybe I can, not maybe, for sure, I can stuff all of that old pages with internal links to the new ones, not because we want to have link juice flowing or whatever, trick the algorithm, but because it's useful for the user. If you're missing that part of a topic, that's why you're not ranking. That's why you're not reaching that first page, or maybe even the second one. So it's not about, hacking the system. It's about understanding the entire thing that you want to rank on. And this is also something that's quite interesting that we provide within Cluster AI. You can actually plug in your keywords that you download from Google Search Console. And then when you see the groupings together, you can actually see, oh, maybe I'm ranking on position 80 for this query that, I can be just, adding to this other page where it belongs. So that is an interesting thing. And I definitely suggest that, of course.
Okay. And next is, do you use this exact same process for global SEO and for local SEO, or what do you do different for a local SEO site?
Okay, I'm sorry that I cannot give almost any input for local SEO. I have some experience, but it's been before content distribution. What I can share, what I like to share things that we have experience in, like seeing the data. Not just guesswork. So what I know is that there are certain Cluster AI users who use this for local SEO, and their approach, as they shared it with me, there's just a couple. For example, I believe it was in an insurance niche, different kind of insurances, but they were like focusing on just one single state or a tri-state area. I know that their tactic was to group national keywords, and then try to have the best possible content, which the idea is for them that would propel them up in local search, and that is supported then with city-specific landing pages. But that's the part I cannot comment on because I don't know the correlation of what they're doing. I'm actually really excited to hearing results from them.
Excellent. Right. When you're creating large volumes of pages with similar content, what linking structure are you using? Are you including them all within your sitemap, or just listing your pillar pages and then using unpaged link to reference?
That's a freaking awesome question. I love it. Give me a second, Kieran. Thank you very much. And that's exactly what I wanted to dive in as a separate kind of a thing. Let me share my screen once again. Internal linking is actually the thing that helps us. I don't know if you guys are seeing my screen.
They are now.
All right, awesome. Internal linking is what helps us make a silo out of a series. What does that mean? If I know from the very beginning that I'm going to be publishing these 50 articles, what is stopping me from creating internal links as soon as I can? It's nothing. Absolutely nothing is stopping me. And that is what our writers are encouraged to do. And they are able to do that with these kinds of instructions. So every series will have mandatory internal links. And they are selected again through this research. Like this part of the process is done at that point. And I want to show you what does that mean. So the mandatory links in this example, and it's similar in other things that we do, are going to be either pillar pages or what we call money or power pages. And those are going to be things that, if we're doing something for a client and the product is quite, clear, and then the topic is like really bottom of the funnel, something that somebody can be like converted right away, that is going to be a mandatory internal link. And that is something that we list for each content series. As you see here, we selected these money pages to be used in this content series because we want to have all of these keywords in those other articles, again, not to hack the system or the search engine, but to have them in a proper place where that additional kind of information is needed. So if somebody is landing on CBD for depression, what is CBD oil is an amazing internal link in the intro, just because that person maybe is not really sure what that is, and so on and so on. And this is why we promote contextual internal linking, because this makes this entire series actually a topic cluster, and it will help rank faster. The next thing that we do here is so we always say use as many links as possible, but we don't want people to force it, and we don't want people to just stuff things in, because that's counterproductive and doesn't make any sense, especially if you're linking to a different kind of completely different kind of a topic, like across the website. That's not it's not a negotiable thing. So we would provide examples of other useful links. Like, you can make a list of these. If you know your topics up front, you can make a list of this quite easily. Like, look, this is like 5 links which are really going to be useful for every one of the articles which mention depression and anxiety, right? Somebody's going to be interested in vape pens. Somebody's going to be interested in cannabis strains. What does that mean? What is the dosage, and so on and so on. So we really actively promote that. The final thing I want to comment on internal linking is how we pay attention to the anchor text. We promote with our writers the option to use the main keyword of the targeted article for the anchor text. That is the next. If that is not possible, the next thing is to try to use the keyword variation of the targeted article, because there's going to be something interesting. And finally, a keyword can be rephrased so the anchor text makes more sense. We don't stuff things with keywords. The reason we have this kind of a approach is that if we do insist of using these keywords as anchor text, we have come to a place where we're seeing like better and better internal links appearing in our text, instead of having writers go through the finished product and just I need to insert internal links. And I think we've in the past 3 or 4 months, we've made significant progress in the number of internal links that we have per each article. And I'm just counting the ones that are contextual and within the content. So not, suggested things in the bottom. We will also have that, but like really valuable stuff that suggests that this is actually a connected series, that this is a topic cluster, and that makes sense.
Cool. What about the second part of the question then? So he's asking, are you including them all within your sitemap, or are you just listing pillar pages and then using on-page link to reference similar articles?
Yeah, we just use links to reference the articles. I'm not sure if I'm understanding what does listing in sitemap mean? Like listing.
Right. So basically within your sitemap, do you include all your articles or all the links, or within the sitemap?
Yeah, they will be included. They will be included because they will be published. Yeah, of course.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. And then that's a similar question here. So do you always stick to silos, or do you generally start linking broader and relevant? I used to stick 100% to silos, but I feel I've seen better results linking across the site when it's relevant. Do you think that makes sense, or am I making a mistake?
Absolutely makes sense. The only time when this is not done is that you need to ask yourself a question: whether do you really want to lead that person away from that page to another one, because then you're sacrificing a certain thing. So we will not link just for the sake of internal linking everything. That's my
particularly on a money page, I guess, right? So if you have a money page, you
have to ask yourself that question. So that's really important. But yes, we do link across different verticals when there is like complete compatibility. If it makes sense topically, absolutely.
Excellent. And then there's one here. Do you use a tool for internal linking, or how do you keep track of internal links? I have a site with over 1,000 posts, and it's very messy.
Okay. I'm I was actually thinking of making a video about this. I'm going to try to do it super fast right now in terms of explaining. So at a certain point in time, we will use Screaming Frog to analyze internal links on a website. We will just choose a limited number of articles if I just want to see a certain vertical. But the way to do it, you need to analyze your entire website. And then within Screaming Frog, you have to then select the pages that you want to see, and then use the inlinks tab to see where are they coming from and to, and you will actually see the anchor text. Then if you extract that as a CSV, you will actually have for yourself an idea of what types of internal links and what frequency is there for certain pages. And you will actually be able to see, what kind of anchors was somebody using. It gets more interesting if you plug in Google Analytics API there, or you can do that also manually. Like I'm sometimes a super retarded guy. I just go and download shit and just connect it in a spreadsheet. Look at the trend of growth in terms of like, how does this connect to the number of internal links that I have? So that's an interesting way of doing it. I always use the inlinks function, because then I can see what are the articles that are leading to that one. That is like, it makes more sense to me to just analyze it that way. And yes, it's huge. It's a huge job. I would sometimes have spreadsheets of 250,000 rows, but with filtering and deleting rows, you can actually do interesting things. Oh, thanks, Kieran. Yeah, definitely.
Excellent. Yeah, and we'll make sure that template gets shared afterwards, Karen. So that's cool. Yeah. So what about a tool like Link Whisper? Have you ever used that, or is that something you? Yeah.
No. We've been looking into what we can actually leverage for. Getting things more internally linked. But we're really loving the fact that we're controlling that from the very beginning, because we know what exactly we're going to do and publish, right?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, and next question here. I've read that you don't build links, but when I look at your example sites, it looks like they have a ton of links. How does that match?
Okay. The backlinks that our website that we worked on acquired were backlinks that happen organically. What we don't do is we don't have organized outreach campaigns, and we don't build backlinks as a way to drive traffic. So all of those things have been happening, accidentally. There's never a campaign behind it. Mostly because, we're not also very good at it. So we haven't, it's an interesting thing, but, I've been in SEO for 7 or 8 years. I've never run a successful outreach campaign for backlinks. Like, I don't know what it costs even, and whether that's a viable thing. What are the, can you get some clarity in terms of like example websites in terms of like the ones that I've been showing? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I assume that. I think Nick have been showing that do not pay a lot of the time, but I'm not sure if that's the one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's also a thing. Like when you have that kind of organic growth, you're going to get links, and we are publishing a lot of content there that belongs to different. I mean, everybody can see that in Ahrefs if they analyze the website. There's just keywords belonging to God knows how many verticals.
Yep, that sounds good. Excellent, Boyan. I think we will cut the live stream here. I think it has been excellent, and thank you very much for everyone for joining us. And thank you. Great questions.
Yeah, and everybody who's watching. Thanks.
Yeah, excellent. So thank you everyone for watching, and we'll be back again someday soon.
Yeah, thanks so much.